Okay, guys, so we're going to talk a little bit about what we missed in class today because of Evil Picture Day. The first thing that we're going to talk about is your topic sentences that you wrote to represent the purpose and the message of Mina Far's for teenager hijab, a sign of freedom, not stricture. So I want to come back to, there's a lot on this slide, so bear with me, and I'm doing this on my computer because my iPad was not friendly with me this morning. We want to come back to this format that I gave you. And we want to make sure that your sentences fit that format, but they also use specific vocabulary that is able to determine what exactly she's saying in her article and why she's saying it, right? The what and the why. So when I read this article, I really came up with two purposes. The first purpose I came up with was to educate readers who view hijab through an uninformed or stereotypical lens, right? And this is really spurred on by her questions. She says that she has asked two questions in her life. One is, why are you wearing that? And the other is, why does your religion denigrate women? Okay, so what she's doing, her exigence, her reason for doing this is because she wants to educate people who only know Muslims through stereotypes. The other aspect of this is that she's arguing that the hijab represents feminism. So the other point, to argue that her hijab has a meaning entirely emblematic of her feminism. And I used a quote in there to help me create that statement, okay? So I took actually a student's response here to create this whole purpose statement, this whole topic sentence. In Mina Far's newspaper article for teenager hijab, a sign of freedom, not stricture, Far aligns the meaning of a hijab with her feminist beliefs. Okay, that's what she's doing. In order to disprove the false accusations made about women within the Muslim community. So this part here, this is her why. This is her what is she doing? This is her why is she doing that? Okay, this is important, being able to write this topic sentence, because ultimately this is going into our very next piece of writing, which is this very fancy name called this rhetorical precis. A precis is a paragraph that differs from a summary in that it's analytical, right? A summary says what the author talked about. A precis talks about what the author talks about, but more importantly, why. Okay, what are they saying and what are they doing and why are they doing that? That's the difference for a precis. The handout that I gave you in class that starts like this. You should take your time and read through this carefully, very carefully, because this is the template that we're going to follow when we write a rhetorical precis. It is not always what we're going to do, but I think that this is going to be the easiest way to get us starting to write rhetorically. You will notice that it has your structures for you. In sentence 1, we do this. In sentence 2, we do this. In sentence 3, we do this. And in sentence 4, we do this. It's very specific. When you look down at the next part of the page, where it says classic rhetorical precis sentence starters. Again, it breaks it down into the sections. These letters here, the A, the B, the C, and the D, they align with a chart at the bottom of your page, and I don't have it here, but it's a word bank that you can use. You can also use your VIP handout for the rhetorically accurate verbs here to do this, okay? So you can see in sentence 1, we're talking about who and what. Who is writing and what are they saying? How are they doing it? This is rhetorical strategy. What rhetorical strategy are they doing it? Why are they doing it? And to whom are they presenting the material? Okay, that's essentially how it breaks down. In your packet that I gave you, you have 5 examples of rhetorical precis, but I also wanted to give you this one. I wrote this one, and I'm going to walk you through the different parts. So if we just take a second to read it. In his farewell to baseball speech on July 4th, 1939, Lou Gehrig illustrates that despite his diagnosis of ALS, he remains extremely grateful to his fans and views himself as a lucky man. Garrick supports his assertion by presenting a list of valuable people in his life, from baseball's greatest managers and owners to his beloved wife. With each addition to the list, Garrick poses a simple question to the audience. Wouldn't you feel lucky if you were me? The author's purpose is to call attention to the good fortune of his life in order to express his sincere gratitude to his admiring fans. Again, picture day is ruining my life. Having been spurred to the microphone by the chants of the crowd, Garrick establishes an informal and appreciative tone, which allows him to connect with his audience, the fans watching in the stadium and listening from home. You should literally be able to break my sentences down into these different parts. I added one extra sentence in there that I felt that I really needed, but this you should be able to do. In my first sentence, you should see my author. You should see the letter A, my genre, which is a speech, the title, and you're going to see one of those B words. I used illustrates, okay? It's not in your list, but it's on the RAV sheet. And then I'm going to see your assertion, your thesis statement, your major assertion. He's grateful to his fans and views himself as lucky. That is the main point of his speech. That goes right in that thesis statement in that first sentence. When you look at my second sentence, starting here, Garrick supports his what? Okay, so I'm looking at B now. His assertion. By what? Now I'm looking at C. What is he doing? He's presenting a list of valuable people in his life, right? This is an action. This is a rhetorically accurate verb. What is his rhetorical strategy? He's presenting a list of valuable people in his life, okay? And I'm answering also how is he doing that? He's posing a question to his audience. Sentence 3 or part 3, I literally started it with the author's purpose is. So I told you, what is he doing? This is our in order to statement. The author's purpose is to call attention to the good fortune of his life in order to, right? There it is. And lastly, I'm adding in his tone and his audience. So I am saying that his informal and appreciative tone allows him to connect to his audience, who are the fans who are watching him. This right here is a rhetorical précis. I also looked at an example from Toni Morrison, which is on the back of your paper. And I went through and I highlighted the different areas that represent the different parts of this rhetorical précis. You should be able to do that with each one of these 5 examples on the back and use these as models, okay? Use them as models in your attempt at your précis. So your assignment is to go back into the article for Teenager Hijab, a Sign of Freedom, okay? And let me get a decent font here before I start writing. And you are going to write a rhetorical précis oh boy, that's not what I wanted to do. What is happening? Transparent. There we go. Write a rhetorical précis about I want to spell her name right. Shanfar article, okay? Following using the template provided for you in class. So when you go into Schoology, obviously you found this video, good job, okay? The next thing that you're going to be doing is opening up that document and attempting to write a rhetorical précis. I'm telling you that this should take you an hour, probably. If you're really working hard and you're trying to choose vocabulary with precision, it will take you an hour, okay? That's what I want you to do. Good luck. If you're struggling, if you have questions, let me know and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can.